Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a topic that's been generating a lot of buzz lately,
Yeah.
the future of programming in the age of AI.
Definitely a hot topic.
Yeah. We got an article sent in called Pasted Text, and it asks a really interesting question. Does programming still matter? So we're going to unpack that today.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, listeners are curious about how AI is changing the programming landscape. Do we still need to learn how to code in this age of AI?
Right, and this article jumps right in and it talks about how AI is already writing code.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it mentions things like tools like GPT and those low-code, no-code platforms.
Okay.
And these can actually create functioning apps in minutes.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
So, I mean, does that mean that human programmers are becoming obsolete? Like, is this the end of programming as we know it?
Well, not quite yet. What's interesting is the article emphasizes AI's strengths in those repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
Like generating boilerplate code, the
Mm.
basic building blocks that programmers have to write over and over again.
Right. Right.
So AI can handle that, which frees up human programmers to focus on the more creative and complex aspects of software development.
So AI is like taking over the grunt work.
Yeah, you could put it that way.
Okay.
It's kind of like having a super efficient assistant that can handle those tedious tasks and lets the human programmers focus on the bigger picture.
I see. I see. The article also used that analogy of a calculator for math.
Right.
So it can perform those calculations really quickly and accurately,
Right.
but it doesn't replace the need for mathematicians.
Exactly, exactly. We still need humans to understand those concepts, to set up the equations, and to interpret the results.
Yeah.
It's the same with programming. So we still need human programmers to understand what the user needs, to envision those solutions and solve complex problems that AI just can't grasp at this point.
So it's not just about writing lines of code anymore.
Right, it's more than that. The role of the programmer is kind of evolving into more of a director or a conductor.
Interesting.
So programmers need to be able to guide the AI, refine its output, and make sure that it aligns with the overall project goals.
So it sounds like AI and human programmers actually need to work together, each playing to their strengths.
Exactly. Yeah, AI can handle those repetitive, rule-based tasks while humans bring the creativity, the critical thinking, the problem-solving skills to the table.
This is really interesting because, the article also points out that AI itself is built on code, right?
Mm.
Which is written by humans.
That's a really crucial point. As AI systems become more complex, we're going to need more skilled programmers
To do what?
to develop them, to refine them, and to maintain them. So, we're essentially building the brains of these AI systems, and that requires a very deep understanding of programming, but also AI principles as well.
So learning to code is still important.
Absolutely. The article really highlights that AI is not replacing human programmers. It's a tool that can augment our abilities, and it can help us create even more sophisticated and innovative software.
Okay, so that's encouraging. But the article also mentions that AI-generated code isn't always perfect.
Right.
Like it can be buggy, it can be inefficient, it can even misinterpret what the project requirements are.
Absolutely. And that's where human programmers come in.
Okay.
We still play that critical role in debugging, in optimizing, and ensuring the security of any AI-generated code.
Okay.
So we need to be able to spot those errors, improve efficiency, and just make sure that the code is robust and reliable.
So it's not just a set it and forget it scenario with AI.
Not at all. We need to be very actively involved in the process. We need to guide the AI, refine the output, and ensure that it meets, the highest standards.
Yeah, okay, so it seems like the role of the programmer, it's becoming even more important, even though it's changing.
Yeah, definitely. And the article predicts this rise of a new kind of programmer, what they call the AI literate programmer.
Mm.
And these programmers will be skilled in traditional programming, but they'll also be skilled in AI. And they'll be able to effectively collaborate with AI tools and leverage that power to create some really incredible things.
So they're going to be like the hybrid super programmers of the future.
Yeah, I like that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And these programmers are going to be in high demand.
Oh, yeah. Across all industries, not just in tech.
Really? Why is that?
Well, think about it. AI is being integrated into pretty much every industry now.
Yeah, that's true.
So healthcare, finance, transportation, manufacturing, you name it. And each of these industries has their own specific requirements, their own challenges.
Okay, so it's not just about building one generic AI that can do everything.
Right. We have to be able to tailor AI systems to each unique situation. And that's where those human programmers come in.
Gotcha.
They need to have a deep understanding of how each industry works and really think about where AI can be applied most effectively.
Okay.
And then they can go in and develop custom solutions that meet those very specific needs.
So it sounds like programmers of the future need to be incredibly versatile and adaptable.
Absolutely.
Not only do they need to be, coding experts, but they also need to have a really firm grasp of these different industries.
Yes. And this emphasizes the importance of continuous learning.
Oh, definitely.
The technology is always changing, and the ways that AI can be applied is constantly evolving. But it also sounds incredibly rewarding to me
I agree.
to be at the forefront of this technological revolution.
Yeah.
Helping to shape how AI is used to solve real-world problems. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. But with all this talk about, technology and innovation, it's kind of easy to lose sight of the human element.
Yeah,
And I really like how the article reminds us that ultimately, technology is just a tool.
absolutely.
It's up to us humans to decide how we want to use it, what problems we want to solve with it, and ultimately what kind of world we want to build.
Right. It's not just about the code. It's about making sure that the technology we create serves humanity
Yeah.
and helps us build a better future.
Absolutely. That's a responsibility we should all take to heart. So we've covered a lot today. We've talked about how AI is changing the way programmers work, the importance of collaboration between humans and machines, and even touched on those ethical considerations that come along with this rapidly evolving technology.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
Well, I think the key message here is that programming is here to stay, but it is evolving.
Okay.
So the skills and mindsets that are needed to really thrive in this field, those are definitely changing. But that core role of the programmer as a problem solver, as an innovator, and as someone who uses their skills ethically, that's more important than ever before.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And for anyone out there who's wondering if programming is still a viable career path, I think the answer is a resounding yes.
Definitely.
The future of programming is incredibly bright, and it's filled with opportunities for those who are willing to adapt, to learn, and embrace those challenges and possibilities that lie ahead.
Exactly. But we've only scratched the surface of this conversation.
I know, right?
I think it's time to shift gears a bit and really delve into the heart of the matter here. What does this all mean for you, the listener?
Ooh. I like where this is going. Let's bring it all home in the next part of our deep dive and explore what this means for our listeners' journey in the world of programming.
So before the break, we were talking about how programmers and AI are going to be working more and more closely together. I'm curious to hear more about what that actually looks like in the real world.
Well, the article actually dives into this concept called collaborating with AI tools. And honestly, it sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh.
Instead of spending hours and hours writing every single line of code, programmers can now describe what they want to an AI tool, and it will generate a basic framework.
Wow. So it's like a big time saver.
Huge, yeah.
But then what happens? Do programmers just take a break after that?
Not quite. That's where things get really interesting. The programmer's role shifts from just writing code to something more like, a director or a conductor.
Okay.
So they review the AI-generated code, they look for areas that need improvement, and then they optimize it to make sure it performs well and that it's secure.
So they're kind of like guiding the AI, being a mentor, making sure it stays on track and produces high quality code.
Exactly.
Interesting. So it's like about, doing all the coding themselves and more about understanding the AI's strengths, its weaknesses, and using it strategically.
It's almost like having an AI apprentice
Yeah.
working alongside you.
Right.
One that can handle those repetitive tasks so you can focus on the more creative and strategic elements of the project.
Mm-hmm.
And the article suggests that this type of collaboration is only going to become more and more common as AI tools continue to evolve.
That's really exciting to think about all the possibilities. It's like instead of being replaced, programmers are being empowered to do even more. They can work in tandem with AI to create increasingly sophisticated, innovative software.
Yeah, it's definitely a much more reassuring perspective.
Yeah.
The article also mentioned how AI will need those skilled programmers to help integrate it into various industries. What did it have to say about that?
Well, you have to think about all the different areas where AI is already making a difference. We're talking about healthcare, finance, transportation, even things like manufacturing and entertainment.
Right.
Each of these industries has its own specific set of requirements and challenges.
It's not just about building one generic AI that can do everything.
Exactly. It's about tailoring those AI systems for each unique situation. And that's where human programmers come in.
Gotcha.
They need to have a deep understanding of how each industry works and where AI can be applied most effectively. Then they can develop custom solutions that meet those specific needs.
It sounds like programmers of the future are going to need to be incredibly versatile and adaptable.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only do they need to be coding experts, but they also need to have a really firm grasp of all these different industries.
Yeah, and this also emphasizes the importance of continuous learning
Oh, for sure.
because these technologies are always changing and the ways in which AI can be applied is constantly evolving. But it also sounds incredibly rewarding
I agree.
to be at the forefront of this technological revolution, helping shape how AI is used to solve real-world problems. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
It is. But with all this talk about technology and innovation, it's easy to lose sight of the human element. And I like how the article reminds us that ultimately technology is just a tool.
It is.
It's up to us humans to decide how we use it, what problems we want to solve with it, and ultimately what kind of world we want to build.
That's a crucial point. It's not just about writing code, it's about making sure that the technology we create serves humanity and helps build a better future.
Absolutely. That's a responsibility we should all take to heart. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about how AI is changing the way programmers work, the importance of collaboration between humans and machines, and even touched on those ethical considerations that come along with this rapidly evolving technology.
Right. So to kind of bring it all together, what would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
I think the key message is that programming is here to stay, but it's evolving. The skills and mindsets that are needed to thrive in this field, they are changing. But that core role of the programmer, as a problem solver, as an innovator, and as someone who uses their skills ethically, that's more important now than ever before.
I couldn't agree more. And, for anyone out there who might be wondering if programming is still a viable career path, I think the answer is a resounding yes.
Absolutely. The future of programming is incredibly bright,
Yeah.
and it's filled with opportunities for those who are willing to adapt, learn, and embrace the challenges and possibilities that lie ahead.
Exactly. But we've only scratched the surface of this conversation.
I know, right?
I think it's time to shift gears and really delve into the heart of the matter. What does this all mean for you, the listener?
Oh, I like where this is going. Let's bring it all home in the final part of our deep dive and explore what this means for our listeners' journey in the world of programming. So we've been taking this deep dive into the world of programming and AI, and it's clear that things are changing fast. But, amidst all this technical stuff, I keep coming back to this point the article makes, and that is, it's easy to get caught up in the how, but the why is super important.
It's like the article is saying, hey, remember all this amazing technology? It's just a tool, right? It's up to us humans to decide how we use it, what problems we want to solve with it, and ultimately what kind of world we want to build.
Yeah, it's like AI can give us the building blocks, but we're the architects deciding what kind of structure we want to create.
I like that. That's a really powerful way to put it. It really highlights how human judgment, creativity, and empathy still really matter, even in a world where, AI is becoming more and more prominent.
So let's bring this home for our listeners. If you're listening to this and thinking about a career in programming, or maybe you're already in the field and kind of wondering how to stay ahead of the curve, what does this all mean for you?
Well, the article offers some really great advice. First, don't be intimidated by AI. Instead, embrace it as a powerful tool that can really amplify your skills, unlock new possibilities. So learn how to work with it, understand its strengths and its limitations, and always be on the lookout for ways to leverage its capabilities.
So become the AI whisperer.
Exactly.
Got it. But it sounds like it's not just about technical skills anymore, right? Like having that solid understanding of ethics and how technology impacts society as a whole is also going to be really, really crucial.
Oh, absolutely. The programmers of the future will be more than just coders. They'll be shaping the ethical guidelines, the frameworks that govern AI development and use.
Wow, that sounds like a huge responsibility.
It is, but it's also an incredible opportunity to be at the forefront of one of the most significant technological shifts in human history. A chance to truly make your mark on the world in a way that's both innovative and meaningful.
So it's not just about writing code, it's about shaping the future we want to live in.
Exactly. And that's a challenge worth taking on.
I love that. Well, on that inspiring note, we've reached the end of our deep dive. A huge thank you to our listener for sending us this really thought-provoking article. And to all of you listening out there, keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop asking those big questions. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one writing the code that shapes the world we live in. Until next time, happy diving.